Hi everyone, hoping and praying you all are well. We're going to be focusing on immunity and equity. We've talked about this immunity and equity issue before when we discussed some individuals who have what is known as super immunity. We're going to be focusing on a couple of populations. The first population is Indigenous Americans. And instead of using the term African American, we're going to use the most appropriate term to describe what is going on there with the mixing of cultures and mixing of ancestry and mixing of genetics, and that is Creole. And so Creole, essentially, we can talk about it a little bit more, but it essentially involves an individual who's born in one place but having ancestry in another place. So that would include Europeans who came over and Africans who came over and those who mixed with the Indigenous Americans. We're going to be focusing on the research on body fluids and transmission with respect to this pox situation. We're also going to be talking about some behavioral considerations given what has been found in terms of preliminary data. We're going to talk about a small study on viral shedding and where this virus has been detected in terms of body fluids. Okay, we're going to start off looking at viral shedding in clinical samples. And so what they found was in all 12 situations, all 12 individuals had viral shedding in the lesions, in the skin lesions. And skin lesions were found in the just general body area, oral, pharyngeal, and rectal area. And in most cases, 9 out of 12 individuals manifested high viral loads. And reviewing earlier data, the researchers also found evidence of viral shedding in blood, nasopharyngeal fluid, feces, saliva, and semen. There was also a follow-up analysis for the samples, and what they observed was viral shedding in a range of body fluids during the first 2 weeks of the illness and up to 16 days after symptom onset. It's important to note with respect to these body fluids and the lengthy incubation period for this particular microbe. So an individual can be infected and infectious prior to there being any physical manifestation of a problem, and the incubation period can take up to weeks. Another thing that they noted was that in all of the samples, the saliva samples, there was viral shedding noted. Now, you will often hear reports focusing on one mode of transmission over the other, but what is clear is that you have the viral shedding manifestations of the virus in saliva, in nasal fluid, in the blood, in the semen, and in feces. We're going to quickly talk about the implications for this. There is some vacillation with respect to how transmission occurs. But what you can see from this article is that you have the viral shedding in a number of bodily fluids. And so you also have the unique issue with respect to this of the skin-to-skin contact, because the transmission can occur from skin to skin versus having to touch something with the hand and then put it in the mouth or the ears, nose, eyes. And so in this situation, this particular microbe can just simply be passed from skin to skin contact, skin that's contaminated to non-contaminated skin. And then you also have the mouth issue. So the shedding is also oral. But there's another dynamic here because it's also found in feces. There may be a fecal oral dynamic as with some other microbes. And what that means is that when individuals are touching food and they perhaps have not washed their hands, they may transmit something to someone else through the mouth also because of the fecal oral potential for some microbes. You also have the nasal fluid. And so that transmission can occur in a number of ways, including, of course, sneezing, as with the mouth, and coughing. And then, of course, you also have the issue of the private parts. And so you have the viral shedding in semen, viral shedding in feces. And so those two are very important to keep in mind. And so as we wrap this up, this gives you food for thought in terms of thinking about what you may or may not want to do in terms of maintaining your own health. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.